Forging a successful career path begins from your foundation, a foundation of quality and professional education. It is a weapon of transformation and a passport to the future. Hipmat's credibility and years of training thousands of professionals in HND, BTech, BSc, and MBA in the schools of Business and Management Sciences, Engineering and Education, with remarkable mentorship from the University of Bamenda for the BTech and MBA and the University of Boya for the BSc program is second to none. From committed professors and lecturers in classrooms to numerous academic field trips, internships and workshops, Hipmat will reform and guide you towards your success. Admissions are now open in our Boya and Douala campuses. Join us. Together, we will build a legacy.
Hipmat is what it is today because of its excellent and competent teachers.
You choosing Hipmat will be the perfect place to gain that professionalism that you need to further your educational career.
The Higher Institute of Business Management and Technology, the University Institute for Professionals. Forging a successful career path begins from your foundation, a foundation of quality and professional education. It is a weapon of transformation and a passport to the future. Hipmat's credibility and years of training thousands of professionals.
BT Media is getting better, going further with clearer images. Our channels, My Media Prime, My Movie Africa, French and English, My Music Africa, My Gospel Africa, Real Black 1 and 2 will be upgrading on EMA 17 with frequency 12,333, symbol rate 30,000 on a vertical polarity 17 degrees east. This is to satisfy our consumers who watch our channels for information, entertainment, and education. BT Media Group, building the future.
Hello televiewers, good evening. Welcome to Prime Hour on My Media Prime. Today we are going to be looking at MBOSCUDA's engaging Northwest farmers and cattle grazers in an intercultural dialogue scheme with the objective of ensuring a peaceful cohabitation amongst these two communities that actually make up the Northwest scenario. We are going to be discussing this with persons from the Mbururu Social and Cultural Development Association who have come all the way from Bamenda to tell us what that scheme, the project, has been doing for the past 3 years. We understand that it's soon coming to an end. We are in the company of El Haji Sule Sali Usmanu, who is the monitoring and evaluation officer from MBOSCUDA. Good evening and welcome.
Thank you.
How is Bamenda?
Bamenda is fine.
Yeah, battling with the ongoing
normal situations.
Also in the program with us is Wancha Cynthia, who is the communication.
It's unique for carrot, green beans, Irish potatoes, and tomato that has become very, very expensive. And well, life it's moving on. Things are changing, one step at a time. We'll get there.
You came with meat. The Northwest is the third cattle producer in Cameroon.
Yes. Okay. After Adama in the east.
Okay. Also with us is Professor Mark Anthony, who is also he is a Pan-Africanist and should be very interested in issues of intercultural dialogue and peaceful cohabitation amongst communities. We're glad to have you.
Thank you, Leo, and thank you to my fellow panelists and to you, million viewers watching us out there. I think it is another beautiful evening, and like Leo just said, when it comes to Africa, our hearts beat. So it is very important to get to know what it means to be an African and how to cohabit with your brothers and sisters, because as Africans, there's no divide among us. All what we have are artificial divides, and we need to be able to heal them.
Okay, artificial divide, we need to heal them, but let us lay the premise for our televiewers to understand what is happening here. Back to sender. Yes, you have been for 3 years working for a project. What's at stake? We know that Cameroon has above 250 tribes, ethnic groups, very complicated, and the need for each other to understand the difference of the other so that we can live together.
Thank you very much for that question. I hope I will start from the background from which we are coming.
Mm-hmm.
We have previously implemented a project known as In Search of Common Ground,
Mm-hmm.
which is searching a common ground between Bororos and non-Bororos,
Mm-hmm.
or maybe herders and farmers.
Mm-hmm.
From that project, when it was evaluated,
Mm-hmm.
it was discovered that the key aspect of cultural understanding was not really there, and it's a driver for conflict.
Mm-hmm.
Because culture, is a key element in as an identity.
Mm-hmm.
So after evaluation of that project, cultural understanding between the people became an issue, and we designed a project which was known as Bridging the Gap.
Yes.
Which was actually sponsored by European Union. It's a 3-year project which really has as an overall objective that of enhancing social cohesion by promoting intercultural dialogue and the respect for cultural rights and human rights.
Mm-hmm.
That's the overall objective of that particular project known as Bridging the Gap.
Mm-hmm.
It is almost at the tail end. This is the last quarter of the project, which is going to be ending soon. By January 2021, the project will be ending. So in fact, that particular project has been very, very interesting because, something that deals with perceptions, people, the way they behave, the way you appreciate the culture of one another, is such an interesting issue. It's not as concrete as building a tap. It's not as concrete as building a school, but working with perceptions of people, changing, trying to alter perceptions, is a very, very difficult thing.
Okay, for our televiewers to understand better what we are talking about, he's talking about perceptions, cultures. Did you, for your 3 years working with the population, discover that everybody holds so strong to their culture and tradition and wants to impose on the other?
Yes, actually, okay, you can go ahead.
All right. Thank you very much, Leo, for that question. I think it is based on this, that MBOSCUDA, alongside with the Northwest Farmers Organization, NOWEFO, and one of our partners, the United Purpose, that it's based in the United Kingdom, decided to engage in this project. Like the Monitoring and Evaluation Officer rightly indicated, in the course of evaluating the other project that was executed within 2013 to 2018, which was trying to find a common ground where these farmers and grazers can resolve their conflicts instead of always dragging one another to the offices of the SDOs or the agro-pastoral commissions or land commissions. It was realized that these perceptions or misconceptions that somebody like Alaji or Sali Usman holds about me, who is a typical Graffiti person, and there are equally some misconceptions that I hold about the Bororo, the Bororo culture or the Bororo community, which has often, which has been a breeding ground for conflicts, because we hold so strong to our culture that we fail to understand that just as much as we have this attachment to our cultures, so too do they hold, so too do they have that attachment to theirs. A Graffiti woman like myself, I identify very much with corn in my kitchen or in my banda, if we want to commonly refer to it in quotes. It is just same like a Bororo man has a special attachment to his cattle. So just like I will get so angry for Sale Usmanu's cattle trespassing into my land, so too will he get angry if I get to kill a cow or beat a cow or inflict injury on one of his cows for trespassing on my land. So there were lots of this.
Okay, you may want to drink yasha or beer around where
it's not allowed.
So in fact, she has only gone to a point that will have to come in.
Okay.
You see, this issue of culture is a way of life.
Yeah.
And each aspect of culture, people stick to it very strongly. So there is no culture that is right, no this one that is wrong.
everybody sees it as right. Yes.
So the only way is for you to understand as part of life that this is the culture of such and such a person, and from there you can live, accepting it. There will be tolerance, and there will be understanding. The highest thing is understanding, because at first when we were even called Boro people, it was like a certain stigma.
Yeah, it's like in a forum today, I was asking many people that I am a proud graphic person. I don't know why, if I'm called a graphic man, I should get angry. Yeah.
So it's the same to the Moro people. At first there was a lot of stigma just surrounding our name. But you see, with this evolution and time that has evolved, people understand it's even very, very important if I am recognized as a Mbororo and called a Mbororo, because that's my identity. So in fact, you see, culture is a very strong binding force, and if it is not well understood between people, there is room for conflict.
Professor Mark Anthony, is this actually what Africa needs today?
Mr. Leo, cultural rights is human right. And the way it is managed matters a lot. I want to say, I grew, I think, when I was between the age of 6 to 9, I practically grew with my grandfather in Sabga. And I grew among the Mboros. Yes, so, and you see, it is not something that we were like, okay, it is true that to an extent there's a divided community, but now like this, when you go to Sabga, it is one community. Why? Because the people have gotten to understand how important it is to live as one another, because we are not looking at times we get to start looking at, might be the tribe, it becomes a problem for us. What we are supposed to be focused on is not only the tribe, but it's also supposed to be the skin color we possess. It should bind us together. Apart from the skin color, we should see into it that there is no human being that is practically coming from space, because humanity anthropologically has one origin, not different origins. And so when we create those divides, it causes a lot of conflicts. And it is these conflicts now that end up at the end of the day destabilizing not only a particular environment but a whole state.
It starts from the micro to the macro. And so when we are unable to handle those basic differences that we are creating, which is as a result of a particular perception that we have, because it is the way I see you that determines whether I am like you or not, but that's not how it is supposed to be. And how you, I'm sure here is, we are looking for common ground, identifying how to tolerate the other.
One another. You see, when for example, you just mentioned something in the group, I am somebody who is coming from different areas. So when you come to the Southwest and you meet the Southwest people, this person says you are this person, the other one says you are this person. Then when we look at ourselves, we are alike. They start asking the question, what is the difference? Is it the administrative boundaries that have been created, or is it because we have different skin colors, but you discover it's administrative boundaries? And those are the limitations that we have. But it is, in my opinion, that Africans today needs to get to a place where they understand who an African is and what an Africanism is all about. Africanism has nothing to do with just the fact that you have a black skin color. It has a lot to do with the various values which we hold. And I believe every African has, in fact, Africans as a whole hold the same values. We have the love for humanity. We share that together. We have this understanding that humanity is sacred. That is something that if you get into every African background, you're going to find it. And so we must go to that place where we are able to identify the things that unite us together than those things that actually separate us. Okay. And so that's supposed to be the target.
Alhaji Sali, practically speaking, many persons are going to be watching us. Which are those stereotypes, misconceptions that exist, which you identified in the community, especially in the Northwest, that actually served as breeding grounds for conflict?
Yes, you have talked about stereotypes. Actually, just that perception that this is a Bororo man and this is a non-Bororo, at first that divide was wide, in the sense that people hold some prejudice. For example, if I sit and urinate, people will be wondering why is a man sitting and urinating. And it's normal, because if you look at the culture of Islam, you need to really avoid urine splashing to your dresses before you pray. So if you don't sit and you just stand and urinate, it doesn't speak well. But you see, that is just a prejudice that people hold. You see me moving with a knife on my waist and a stick. It's a prejudice. People think that I am aggressive and ready to fight. But if you look at the background of cattle rearing, Bororo people has it much more than just livelihood option, but it's also a culture of their own, and it has been transcended from generation to generation. So you are moving with a cow. Now, what do you expect? A cow can become very aggressive. That is where the issue of the stick has to come in.
Beat it or
There is an animal. Not to talk of a knife. When the cattle happen to fall down or is about to die, you need to slaughter it. You will not use your hand in slaughtering it. So basically, Moro people move with a knife and a stick because of their culture of cattle rearing.
Yeah, but also there should be an aspect of self-defense, because what if you are, because when you are rearing the cattle, it's in the bush.
That's a
misconception. You see a snake, for example.
That's it. You have to defend yourself. Yes. But what if thieves attack you because you are a herdsman alone in the middle of the wilderness rearing cattle, and you attack? What do? Do you fold your arms?
You don't.
Okay.
So those are some of the prejudices that people hold, which are really very, very, negative. But now, as people are doing this project of intercultural dialogue, there are opportunities for them to share all of this. And we understand too the culture of the non-Bororos, because there are issues that are in your culture, which formerly maybe we'll be looking at it as if, formerly a Boro man, when you come and visit a Boro man, he'll give you a seat outside. Yes. But now they are becoming open. Why? Because they are understanding that, as the professor said there, that humanity is not about the differences. People are bound to be different, but they are bound to live together. So,
okay. Now, these have existed for centuries, decades. Was the ingredient that has been lacking the lack of educating the respective communities to understand that, like he is explaining, that they are moving with a stick because it is part of their life?
Yes, I feel that people were not aware. I don't want to use education, but I just feel that it's just out of ignorance, ignorance of the fact that we have not taken our time to have a proper understanding of our different cultures. You used an example here that a Bororo man will not come around somebody like you or the professor when you're drinking your sha, and he sits there. There is a meeting that was organized by Nowefo with women.
Northwest Farmers.
Yes, the Northwest Farmers Organization. And during that meeting, they brought palm wine. And the Bororo women who were part of that meeting shifted. They withdrew. they withdrew from it, and then later on explained and told the organizers that we understand that this is your culture, but you need to also understand that it's not part of our culture to drink palm wine. So when next you're doing this, you have to find a middle ground, find a way to accommodate, find a way of accommodating both parties or accommodating both cultures. Now, those misconceptions that we were talking about, Leo, you and I can get into a restroom, we stay on our phones and we're talking to people who are in the parlor or people who are in the room. We find it very normal. But if somebody like Alaji, I keep using him because he's a reflection of the Mbororo community. If Alaji is in the restroom and you get there and you're talking to him, he will not respond. Even if you open that door and meet him, you will only get there and embarrass yourself, and then you tell him sorry, and then you walk away. It's their culture. You and I may be finding it odd, like, but why can't you just respond and tell me that I'm in the restroom or not? But he would rather just allow you come in. It's part of their culture. They don't talk when they're in the restroom, same as they don't have that belief that you touch your cloth before you go to pray and all of those things. So in the course of implementing this project, for these 3 years, we actually realized that these cultural misconceptions really served as one of the missing grounds, and somehow indirectly or directly contributed in most of the conflicts that have been or conflicts that have been between farmers and that have equally farmers and grazers. But because of the workshops, or because of the seminars that we have been able to have in the course of implementing this project for these past 3 years, grouping Bororos and non-Bororos, there's been an understanding, and I want to think that somehow we have also helped in addressing most of these conflicts, or in mitigating most of these conflicts.
Okay, now are these the projects that the Cameroon government should seek to implement, not only in the Northwest, because it's been taking place just in the Northwest region?
Well, we have had part of it in the West region, but actually, let me say token, because it's not really
90%.
Is this what the government should be implementing, given the context in which the country finds itself today?
Very important, Mr. Liu. Why did I say important? The situation in which Cameroon finds itself right now needs that projects like this should actually be empowered, not only for a particular environment, but amidst various groupings and tribes. Because, for example, today you go to the south, you hear the Bulu man makes you understand that you are not part of him. Yes, because he has his way of seeing things, and might be, like I said earlier, the cultural, the administrative boundaries that have been created. And when you look at the tribalism that is the talk of the time today, oh Bamlikis, oh Bulus, oh Grafis, because they are called Grafis because they generally score.
Everybody from the Northwest.
So with that, you see a lot of problems already arising out of it. But if the government can intervene by actually creating programs like this, I think copying them, because it's already created, copying programs like this and implementing them where different communities that are actually dwelling together are educated on how to live together, how to cohabit and understand the differences that exist between them, and to be able to identify what unites them. It's like I said earlier, the problem is not the difference. What is supposed to be more important is what unites. Once you identify something that unites, that's what you should magnify. And it's just like of recent, as you said something concerning the Islamic culture that has entered into the Mboros people, because there's a difference between the Islamic culture that has come into them and their African culture that they had. The Islamic culture came in like the one of Pin, that's an Islamic culture. The one of sitting in the toilet, that's an Islamic culture. That's not an African culture. That one just came in because they copied. Just like now, I say I'm a Christian, I have some things I've copied from the Christians, but the pure African man does not have any of those. So, but now that we have come into this, the Islamic, Christian and Islam has influenced Africa. We now have picked some other things which we have added to our culture. But as an African man, I'll always say this: we must not forget what belongs to us because of the Islamism or the Christianity. We must go back, identify what belongs to us, and hold to it, because that one is what will keep us stronger than the different cultures that we have brought from inside, from outside.
All right. Now, I wanted to talk about the fact that executing a project like this, we definitely can do that without letting the government know that this is what an organization is doing on the ground. And I must tell you that most of the government ministries that we identified because of the target population, they gave us a pat on the back. You know, they told us to go ahead. They encouraged our initiative and equally even assigned some focal persons within those ministries or within those delegations to work very closely with MBOSCUDA and NOWEFO. Here I'm talking about the Ministry of Culture. I'm also talking about the Ministry of Youth Affairs and Civic Education. And we also have Women's Empowerment. Women's Empowerment and the Family. Now, if you look at the three ministries that I've talked about, that is to say that our target population in the course of implementing this project, we targeted youths. And our reason for targeting youth is because as these conflicts went on, women and youths were more are more affected. It's very easy to radicalize youth. We don't want to get into that, but we found a need to target the youths, bring them together, the Bororos and the non-Bororo youths, for them to have these exchange programs. And they have been doing a lot around intercultural exchanges. We work with women associations, women's associations as well. That's why we're able to get close to the Ministry of Women's Empowerment and the Family. And then we equally worked with the Ministry of Culture. It's a project that revolves a lot about cultural issues, and we've been working very, very closely with these ministries, which is just an indication that government is encouraging initiatives like this, but maybe the need to do more. Or maybe they can find out where we stopped, and then they say that, okay, if you have worked up to this extent, we feel that you can continue and you can do this or you can do that, away from just telling us that, okay, work with this persons will follow you, or this persons will accompany whatever actions you're carrying on in the field.
You got to the question I had for Alhaji Sally to find out specifically. This was carried out in the northwest region of Cameroon. And who are those you worked with? She says youth and women. How many?
No, I will talk about that. So actually, projects don't operate in space. And projects are bound to have targets. So that from the learnings of that target area, you can now expand or, replicate, or what you carry the learnings to other bigger communities. So actually, this project targeted 47 dialogue platforms. When I talk of dialogue platforms here, people would like to know exactly what they are. These are conflict resolution hubs that are in communities, which are made up of both Bororos and non-Bororos. They were initiated by the communities, but MBOSCUDA facilitated their capacity building and what have you. And this is where conflicts are taken and are solved amicably. They use mostly what is known as conflict mediation. Conflicts are bound to be there, but sometimes when you take ownership of a conflict and you manage it yourself, you learn more from it rather than taking it to an external person. Formally, when there are farmer grazer conflicts, they are taken to the traditional council, to wherever, to the DO, what have you, just a number of, and it's not really their problem, because yes, it's their problem. They're
looking for how much money you give them.
I mean, it has some financial implications which are there, which I don't want to talk about, but all of us know. So these dialogue platforms emerge, and they are found in communities where they were known as conflict hotspots. When there is a conflict, maybe cattle have destroyed a farm, the person will take it to one of the members, and they will mediate and look for a way to solve the problem themselves. And what is interesting in it is that sometimes they even come to terms and land on a compensation. The farmer may even say, no, just the fact that we are now agreed and we are looking for mitigation of this conflict, you don't even need to compensate me. See, it's really interesting. People live together, they are happy. It's not like a win-win situation. Everybody is a win-win in that situation. It's not like I have taken you to the jail, I've locked you up. No.
Yeah, you identified conflict resolution.
So actually, there are 47 dialogue platforms that were targeted in this Bridging the Gap project. All of those 47 dialogue platforms have been extended to have the cultural lens. Because we realize they too cannot function very well without actually stepping them up to understand the culture of the Bororos and the other people to understand the culture of the non-Bororos. So all of those 47 now have the cultural dimension, which has made them to be very, very tolerant. And, understanding has been built up for peace building. It's a very good strategy to build peace. When
now, you identified 47 dialogue platforms.
Yes.
You worked with them.
Yeah.
Practically, what were you doing? What skills did you...
Well, there were still this issue of them, doing intercultural meetings, coming together. The non-Bororos will share their culture, the other ones will share their culture. And, they look for ways to build on that. And each of those cultural practices became a stepping stone, not an obstacle.
Okay.
Just when there are, sometimes what you see as an obstacle can become a stepping stone. And actually, that is what we have been doing with them. And in most cases, we initiated them to be very sustainable by themselves. That is why we just give them the empowerment, the capacity, and they go ahead and do their things the way they want to do them. So don't be surprised that this dialogue platform may be functioning different from the other one, because what is working is what has to be taken. The fact that this is working here does not mean that it has to work everywhere. So that is the first target. The second target was 20 women groups. 20, when I talk of women groups now, social groups. So what we have done there is that we have tried as much as possible to let these groups to be culturally diversified.
Okay.
In the sense that it should have membership of Bororos and non-Bororos in areas that Bororos are. So that they will now have that opportunity to be discussing issues together, understanding one another. And that is where a practical example came, that sometimes when you want Boro people to eat, you don't need to ask them that, should I give you food? The answer is going to be relatively no, because they have a culture of silence. Bororos who are found in these 27 countries in West Africa, wherever you go, they have that culture. That culture of silence is typically what they call pulaku. And those are some of the issues. But if you give them their food in a separate room, they will eat comfortably. But if you start asking them whether you will eat or what, no, just know that you have missed the route. So in fact, we targeted those groups, and out of the 20 women groups, now 15, which is 75%, are culturally diversified. They have membership of Bororos and non-Bororos who are working now together. And you see, the more they become like that, it becomes they understand one another, and now they can now live in peace and social cohesion, which is a primordial objective of this project, is achieved.
Okay.
Then let me talk about the last target group, which is the youths.
Youth, yeah.
We had also 20 youth groups that are targeted in this project. About 15 are culturally diversified, which means that you have membership of Bororos and non-Bororos in the group. And they are working together, interacting, We will sooner or later go to some interactive programs that they have, like a social media group, from what have you there. So those are issues.
Now, were there some cases that came up in the course of these 3 years of working with these 47 dialogue platforms, 20 social groups and 20 youth groups? Did we have some instances of conflicts that were readily resolved by them?
Well, there were actually issues that came up, but like Salih Osmanu rightly indicated, it is not MBOSCUDA's role to resolve those disputes.
No, I mean the conflict platforms, that the dialogue platforms that were created.
Yeah. I'm going there. That's why I'm explaining that it is not MBOSCUDA's role to resolve those conflicts.
Okay.
We empower those dialogue platforms. We give them the capacity, we train them, and they are the ones that are involved in resolving those conflicts, except it hits a level where we can't get to a win-win. before it is brought to MBOSCUDA, but we have seldom had that. We have seldom had that because most of the incidents that have occurred have been resolved by those dialogue platforms. I'll tell you about I'll tell you about an incident in Womb. There was an incident that happened in Womb that was early 2018. When this project just started. There was this woman who had a very wide hectare of land where she planted corn, and unfortunately in the course of grazing cattle that afternoon, I don't know what actually happened, but the cattle trespassed into that land, and this lady's her crop was destroyed, or her crop was damaged. It was taken to the dialogue platform that it's mentioned, where you come from. It was actually taken to the dialogue platform in that community, and the members of that dialogue platform, like Sally indicated, who are made up of the Boberos and non-Boberos, were able to resolve conflict and see how the owner of that cattle could compensate this woman whose cattle had been destroyed. But if it were before these dialogue platforms were created, that woman would have ended up taking that case maybe to the DO, maybe to the senior divisional officer, maybe to the agro-pastoral commission, where you will have to spend money, because each sitting or hearing, you will pay them. You will pay them for having that meeting, and oftentimes the result may not be what you expected. But because these people have now had an understanding, like it rightly indicated, there is really nothing different between you and I if we have the same, if we do have the same skin. So it pays me nothing at the end of the day if I get you locked up. If I get you locked up and you're charged to pay me huge sums of money, it just further breeds hate. It just further breeds divide within the community. That was just one example of how it happened in Womb, and I was able to witness this because I was in Womb. We're doing a documentary on the In Search of Common Ground, and we're fortunate to meet that situation and see concretely how these dialogue platforms are operating, and seeing a success story of having such dialogue platforms within these areas that are considered conflict hotspots. But like I told you, Leonard, you should be able to attest that little do you hear now about conflicts between grazers and farmers from your area. They have been minimized to a certain level, and it's because of that collaboration between the farming and the grazing community, and it is thanks to the work of these dialogue platforms.
We are talking about is it conflict resolution techniques? Yeah. I'm sure those are some of the things that were taught to those who took part in it. Is this what is also very lacking in our communities? That is NGOs that have been working so hard on issues of climate change, issues of environment, all those things. Is that where a focus should be now? That is, we should learn how to tolerate one another and how to solve our issues as communities.
Mr. Liu, I think that if Africans had taken this approach long ago, we will be in a better place right now, in a better position where there's unity and there is love for one another.
Instead of always inviting the international community to come and solve our issues. Yeah.
You see, I've said already that it's practically difficult for the international community to solve the problems of Africans. Look at it all over Africa. But if it concerns European nations, they'll be there. Why? Because that idea of international community is not for Africa, it's against Africa. So as long as I'm concerned, if Africans can come together, learn from this kind of projects, it will help a lot of problems from happening. It will stop a lot of them. Because you see, a small conflict, for example, using the one that my beloved sister just quoted here, where I remember a day at the age of 9, driving a cattle, were crossing over. I don't know how it happened. A break enter into a farm. That evening, my grandfather had to pay for it. It was a whole problem because he had to go to the chief. So, with that, if there was somebody to say, okay, no, let's sit down and talk, there will not be any issue. Yeah. And it became a problem where some cows were killed. Yeah. And just imagine the reaction. there'll be a reaction that will make you feel like, okay, so you killed my cow. So those are some of the things that, if in case, not only in Cameroon, not only in the central sub-region of Africa, but in Africa as a whole, if we have this strategy where we handle our problems from within, we are able to look at one another and say, okay, you did this to me, and I think that this is not okay, and the person says, okay, I accept, this is what I would do. At the end of the day, like he rightly cited, it is going to be a win-win situation. Not you are going to lose for me to win. But that is what is lacking, Mr. Liu. Our communities have been trained to believe and depend on the white man a lot, that we find it difficult to accept our own solutions. We are always believing that the solutions that come from abroad are the solutions that can solve our problems. But when you look at it, the question is, do these solutions that come from the white man actually solve our problems? No, they create more problems. That is what I've identified, and I know I have never, and I will never be able to stand behind any solution that is foreign when it comes to African problems, because African problems are problems that can be handled from within the house.
Okay. Good evening, please, Mr. Liu. I wish you to invite Dr. Kum Venatius of the Department of History, University of Boya, to partake in the program. His PhD thesis was on the farmer graziers conflict in Womb Division. Ambe Gerard writing there, but this one from Kumba says, good evening to all in the studio. I just want to ask this question. What about the Mbororos that do not control cows, but most of them still walking around with their knives? Capo is writing from Kumba. It's part of the culture, like you explained?
Yes, definitely. What I have to say here is that we're talking about culture and prejudice that people hold. You see, the person asking that question still hold their prejudice. And what I can say is that you should just understand that a cow is an animal. And now Mororos have evolved to an extent that they construct night paddocks, in the sense that the cattle in the night are blocked so that they cannot go out and destroy. But skirmishes of destruction will always be there, because you can't, it's not every day of your life that you have to be behind the cow. Even the cattle headsman, he has at one time to rest. He too is a human being. So it's still common, but it's not as intense as it used to be. And that is why each project that we do, at the end there will be evaluation to see what percentage of this destruction has really been what.
Yeah, but the message that should also be out there, isn't it also for people not to know that moving with a knife doesn't necessarily mean that they are moving with it to attack, to cause problem.
Yeah, that is it.
It's like a typical non-Westerner who is moving with the back. They will always, if you say you are going out, you have your back. You have something. If you have that, the knife that you use, it's not to cut somebody now.
Okay.
Yeah, it is just symbolic. Or maybe you have your cup. They always have this cup. It's not because you want to be drinking everywhere. Those are just.
But if you happen to come across,
cultural.
Yes, it's a cultural identity.
It's a cultural identity.
So in fact, my friend over there should just be keen on the fact that he should also be keen to follow up to know exactly how these conflicts are evolving, because definitely, even if just 1% reduce in conflict, in conflict management, is a very big achievement. And you know, conflicts will never stop, but the way we manage them is what is important. Because if you manage a conflict very well, you learn from it, that's already a very big achievement.
Okay, good evening to you, Liu, El Hadji, Mr. Mark, and to our sister in the panel. I love your program today. I love the initiative. Courage to you all in the studio. Chin Clinton Ekanyo Berinui, writing from Douala here. Good evening to you, Clinton. This one says, good evening, Mr. Liu. We are enjoying your programs. Babangida, writing from Gembu in Nigeria. Good evening to you, Babangida. Mo, writing from Yaoundé, says, good evening, Mr. Liu. I think it's hard for real cohabitation for the Mbororo people because of their customs and beliefs. I think they are a mixture of Islamic culture and the Mbororo beliefs, which makes them somehow a strange species. That's also
that's a prejudice.
A perception.
That's a perception.
I think I am from Gala, writing from Camer. The deal here collects cows from Bororo people, and when you have a matter with them, the deal will always support them. Okay, I think this is also the objective, that instead of going to the deal, they should sort the problem amongst them. And if you can solve
yourself. Yourself is the best. Even going to the dialogue platform is a second option. Because if we have problems, which are actually our problems, we take ownership of that problem and manage it ourselves. It's very, very nice.
But what Mo is saying is that the Mbororo people, to some extent, it's difficult to cohabit with them. Isn't it a perception also and a challenge for many more persons to come closer to the Mbororo people and then see it from
like you rightly identified, it's his perception, it's the way he sees it.
Mo is a lady.
Okay, all right.
Who might not have had the opportunity to see the goodness of living with.
She could be saying that from her own experience. I mean, if I didn't find myself to working with the Mbororo Social and Cultural Development Association for the past 3 years, I equally had that perception within me that the Mboros are just a difficult species. They are just people. I mean, they are just people that it's just so difficult to bring them into your social circle. But for the past 3 years, working with them, because my organization, it's made up 90% of Mboros. I think just 3 of us are in that organization who are non-Mboros, and it is because of that interaction or the fact that I've been able to understand that, okay, this is their culture, and I need them to also understand that this is my culture, that it has also changed that perception within me. Now, I tell you something. When I got there the first time, I remember one of my colleagues, who is a paralegal, he told us during the first meeting that, for us, if you want to work in our communities and you go there with trousers, you may not, at the end of the day, have someone who will talk to you. And then the first thing I told him is, in my culture, women are allowed to put on trousers. You can't force me to wear a gown or a skirt because you want me to be able to get to your community and work the way, or to be able to achieve whatever I wanted to achieve in your community. No, your people have to understand that wearing trousers within our culture, it's a normal thing. So it's just a matter of educating and sensitizing people about those different misconceptions. More, you could be talking from your personal experience, but I'm telling you that working with them for the past 3 years, I've just happened to understand that it is their culture. You simply just need to have an understanding of the fact that if you want to be understood, you also have to give that same room to understand some other person. It's that culture of Polako that he identified. In Moroma, they tell you yes, whereas it's a no. But it's just for the sake of peace. Like Alaji said, don't go there asking them, now will you eat? Can I serve you with a plate of fufukon? Just put the fufukon and bring, and he will eat. While him and I were in a taxi coming here, I pulled out sweet from my bag and gave him, and he told me, my BP, it's my blood pressure, it's a little high, but my culture, I can't say no. I just have to take it from. You see, it's just a matter of understanding. It's just a matter of you understanding that, Leo, if it were you and I, you will refund my sweet. You simply tell me that I have a BP and my blood pressure is high. I can't take this. But because their culture doesn't allow for them to say no when somebody open-heartedly offers something to you. He took it. He consumed it even with this challenge. So it's just a matter of changing our mindsets, or changing how we perceive them.
Okay.
I wanted to contribute something before.
Okay.
At times we forget, we do not make the difference between ethnicity and culture. And also at times we forget what true African culture is and what the Europeans have brought to us. I'm talking to in relation to a statement you made. The African culture does not permit a woman to wear on trousers. It is the Western culture that has brought this to us, that we see women wearing on trousers. Yes, yeah, that's a simple truth. And it is not like we are refusing that people should not do it, but we are simply saying that we have been westernized in a way where we have abandoned our own culture, and now we are thinking that the culture of the foreigner is our culture. And those are some of the things that we must be able to make a difference with if we have to actually progress.
So trousers are supposed to be worn by who?
By men. Solely by men.
Sincerely, in Africa, we do not
even
know.
men, if we are to go back to the Bible, men were not wearing
You
this.
see,
So
you are talking Bible. You see, he's still going back to the Bible. You see where he's going to? Just so where he's going to, he's going to the Bible.
No. When I go back to the Bible,
It's not African culture.
No, Ethiopia that is in the Bible is Africa.
Let me be sincere with you.
What were your parents wearing? Your ancestors.
You asked
Trousers?
a question which I should be able to correct
Okay,
you.
go on.
When you go back to history,
Yes.
even in Ethiopia,
Yes. They put on
before
trousers.
the Ethiopian people received Christianity, there was a culture in Africa.
That's what I'm talking about.
And were they wearing trousers? No. When you go to the people whom we are talking about as Christians who came, where did trousers come from? They came from Europe. Here in Africa, we were putting on, we had loins, backs of skins of animals and all
men
that.
and women were not supposed to put on the trousers.
That's why I'm saying that when it comes to this culture of today, that is Western culture that has been brought to Africa, where today, and even the West had a way they were dressing.
Okay.
Women were not putting on trousers at a particular time.
Even men now.
No. So
Okay.
we are not going to be dancing between West and Africa. I'm simply telling you the influence we have received.
Okay.
So we have been so much influenced.
My question, I want us to stay within the context of the project.
Yeah.
3 years project down the road.
Exactly.
Soon coming to an end. How collaborative the different communities that you've worked with have been so far?
So far, they have been very, very collaborative. Those that we can access, due to what is prevailing, we can't really access all of them. But I think it's good for me to situate you people on the project so that Professor too understand the background from which we are going to be discussing, because he has very valuable contributions that he has been offering. So the first thing is that this project is actually bridging the gap. People will be thinking there is which gap, but definitely there is a gap. Just on the gap of understanding is a gap. If you don't understand me, I don't understand you. It's a very big gap. So bridging it now is the overall objective of this project, by enhancing social cohesion through the promotion of intercultural dialogue. Then the first component of the project is about the social cohesion. What does it actually entail when you talk of social cohesion? For people to live cohesively together. So activities there are geared towards empowering the various people to understand how culture is actually very important in bridging this gap and letting them live in peace and peace building. Then the second component is about information dissemination. All of you know here that as journalists that information is power. When you talk about these cultural issues, sometimes you find people wanting. Even the international instruments that govern culture, like the International Convention on Culture, people don't know it. So that second component is actually about information dissemination. So in that one, we have carried out activities that have to do with capacity building for journalists. To an extent that they even have now a cultural journalists association, which is very interesting. You see programs now on TV, you see programs on radio, print media, bloggers writing about culture, cultural journalism. So it has made people to now be very aware about the international instruments. When you talk of cultural diversity, what does it refer to? You talk about cultural expression. People sometimes just use those words without really knowing what it means. But now I think with those capacity building workshops, people have known much about that. And not just that, we also went to print information and communication, education and communication materials in their thousands, which have been distributed, I think, right up to nationally and internationally. And we have received very positive feedbacks from the Ministry of Women and the Family. We have received positive feedback from the Ministry of Culture. We have received positive feedback from the Ministry of External Relations and even the Office of the Prime Ministry. They acknowledge that what we are doing is quite good. The information has helped people now. You even see some. The other day I was talking with a lady. She had her own small booklet on this convention, which was at one time distributed. So when we were talking, it was an interview that we were conducting. She pulled it out. I said, no, it's not necessary. Let's just talk about what we know. You see how people now are sensitive about culture. Yeah. And now people have taken culture on board to know that there are also cultural rights that they have and which can be abused. Yeah. And that is why there's a civil society observatory that has been created, composed of media, civil society organizations, and some technical ministries. And the aim of this civil society organization is actually to follow up, monitor to see about cultural rights, how they are being abused and what can be done. So you see, that is a very key area that is in component 2 of this project. Component 3 is about responsiveness of government policies to the right of minorities. And you know, if you don't have much information that you lobby and do much, you can't be able to influence a policy. True. That is why this quarter we are trying to organize a conference, the regional conference, which I think it will be interesting if some of you are there in Bamenda, so that they will share the learnings of this project with the government technical people, so that they can now take on board issues that can influence policies. Okay. So it's within this framework that this project is actually operating.
Okay, I think what you put on should be your choice. Our ancestors were living naked, and nothing changed. Babies is writing from Yaoundé. Good evening to you. This one says, Mboruros are nice people. I'm a transporter, and my best driver was in Mbororo. Most of them don't drink alcohol and are best drivers in town. Primus is writing from Bamenda. Good evening to you, Primus. Hi, this is Clovis writing from Malingo Boya. Greetings to you all in the studio. I'm a witness to which situation whereby they misused a knife. Most often the knife is poisoned. I really don't know. Make out sense from the fact that a culture would support people moving around with poison weapons. I'm not sure, because I've seen many of them who are also my friends here. That's perception. With the level of civilians and involvement now, this is an ill into the society. The Mororos are no longer the ones we used to know, because most of them are exposed to civilization now. I don't think an educated and a Muslim who is exposed to foreign education will be walking around with a poisoned knife. I don't know where you saw the poison knife, but I don't think it's true. Good evening, Mr. Leo. Good evening, Mr. Leo. Cameroon will experience breakthrough. We shall prosper the land. The land has been set free in the mighty name of Jesus. Dagien Donatien is writing from Yaoundé. Thank you very much. Okay. Good evening, Mr. Leo. I'm so impressed with the program of today, especially with the topic that can take us out of the challenges we are facing in Africa now. I am with the opinion the Prime Minister, head of government, with cooperation with the Ministry of Arts and Culture, should promote more organizations in our country to help us solve our problems within our local communities. Above all, dialogue is always a solution to all differences. Eric is writing from Fiangu in Kumba. Make your messages short and to the point, please. Good evening, Mr. Leo. Trousers are upgrade of pants, and pants were first designed for women. Mr. Anthony writing from Yaoundé. Okay. Mr. Liu, I used to have two friends way back in secondary school. They always came to school with their dagger. But one day something happened. The manual labor prefect was attacked. Okay.
Possible.
Anything is possible.
Good evening, Mr. Liu.
Yeah, it's interesting.
Okay.
So let's go back to
Can we take a break, please? Okay, you are watching Prime R on My Media Prime. We are looking at how to sort out our local issues locally. Actually, an initiative of the Mbororo Social and Cultural Development Association. Professor, you're still laughing. Quite interesting.
It's okay.
Quite interesting program this evening here out there in our studios. Fangudrombanga in Douala. Now let's look at the project. You have been working with the young guys. Has anything changed in their perception? Are they also influencing their peers in their communities?
Yes, of course. We identified that we're working with 20 youth groups. Oftentimes we've brought these groups together, and we ensure that each time we're bringing these youths together, we have that intercultural dimension. So we don't only bring youths from a Mbororo association or youths from a non-Mbororo association, and all of the times that we've been able to pull them together, there are those misconceptions, just like these people who, just like my brothers or my sisters who have been sending text messages.
Because it is strange. We really need to make this thing clear, because I would rather share an experience that severally I've seen this, my friends who have moving with the knives, and that when we saw mango to eat, they removed the knives and use it to clean the mangoes, and we ate. So it actually dispelled that information that the knives are poison, because they use it severally on food.
Yeah, but anyway, let's just not over belabor the point of a poisoned knife. We were not there when it happened. You know, I feel that the overall objective is that, like another person rightly indicated in the text message, that most of the Mboros have been exposed. There's that aspect of civilization that's coming, that you seldom find them again, even just moving around with knives, or because you could even make it sound like Alaji sitting over there. Do you have a dagger in your pocket? You know, so you'll find those of them who deal directly with the cattle, having those knives and all of that. Now we're talking about the youths. These youths now they have a social media platform where every day they come up with different topics that center around misconceptions, and then you find it generates this discussion where some of them will share their ideas and tell you that, no, initially this is what I thought, initially this is what I felt about this culture, or this is what I felt about this or felt about that. And then those of them who are from those different cultures now will be able to establish or be able to tell you that, no, that is a misconception. You know, it is part of our culture to do this or to do that. So the youths are very, very instrumental, very instrumental in the realization of this project. How often have you found Boreros playing football or handball away from Vincent Abubakar and a few others? But it is because of this intercultural dimension of this project that we are going to be having a sports competition where football teams will come from all of these associations, be them from the Bororo background or the non-Bororo background, and it's still going to foster this social cohesion or this coexistence between the two groups. You'll be able to see that it is not odd to find a Bororo girl or a Bororo boy playing football or handball, because there have been discussions about the fact that it looks like sports. It's not part of your. It's not part of the Bororo Bororo culture, but because of a competition like this, you'll be able to understand that it's just a misconception. What we can do as non-Bororos, they too can do it as well. You'll be part of those competitions,
yes.
Leonard, where you have to cover.
I'll have to
Definitely.
make that move to Bamenda. But to note that the core here is also about land and how to manage land.
So, as my sister said over there, the Bororo youths, the non-Bororo youths, now the way they interact is seemingly different. Because you see, with this understanding of the various cultures, they have opened up to options of intermarriages and what have you. Yeah. There are cases like that, though I can't state concretely how many.
Okay, intermarriage, when you say intermarriage, because that is a no-go area.
Why?
I don't know. Many people know that for when it comes to marriage, it's a no-go area.
That's why I was saying that there is that change.
There is that change.
There is that change.
You know, I was just interviewing somebody of this, and they were telling me that now Bororos are marrying non-Bororos and non-Bororos are marrying Bororos. So we can't rule out that possibility. It's human evolution and human changes, and it's possible. Then there are also key issues about the youths now, which is very interesting in the sense that they now can harbor, they can now live together. At first, Bororo youths were at their own corner, then the non-Bororos are at their own corner, but now, you know, they interact. And these interactions, in fact, is opening them up. You don't expect them now to be as hostile as they were before. Yes. So
Okay, they now live in quarters with everybody.
Yeah, they live in quarters and do their groupings together, especially with the advent of social media, you see. People are now doing things because there's a very interesting film that was produced by Boros and non-Boros, which they call "Let's Heal Old Wounds." So it's a film that is one of our achievements.
We
very
had
great.
it here.
Yeah, so if you have had it here, I think it's something that you really need to encourage such initiatives. Because if the initiatives are there, people will learn, and it's a tool to sensitize people to see what actually is going on between Bororos and non-Bororos.
This is a project. It is true you say you are organizing a conference that is going to bring stakeholders together in Bamenda.
Exactly.
Is it January?
Yeah, January. As
Okay,
well.
in January. But is this not also something that most local politicians are supposed to take up to Yaoundé? Isn't it very capital? Knowing that the conflicts that is ravaging these two regions have made it practically impossible or very difficult for them to live amongst their own in their respective communities. Should our local politicians not take this project up?
It is great if they can come into it, but I'm always afraid when politicians get involved in projects that are civil, because they get to politicize it and use it for their own benefits.
No, I don't want us to look at it from a political. That is, if you are a politician and you work for the betterment of your people,
it is good.
Now, this not the project. You are not taking it to do. If there is something to lobby in Yaoundé for money to be pumped so that it is effective,
it is a very good initiative for anybody. In fact, those politicians to actually stand behind. My only problem, as I said, is that fear that when they get inside, they use it for their political gains. If the interests of the people become their particular interest, then I think it will do more good to the communities than just sitting behind and clapping hands in Yaoundé. I want to say also that in relation to my understanding of the Boro people, I am shocked at times when I hear some things that people say, because I literally have a different mindset about them. I used to eat in their houses, I used to drink milk in their houses. So it is funny when I hear people say some kind of things. Most of my friends at that age were Boro people. I still remember there's Dauda, there's Ayuba, there's Yahoba, even they're still there, friends today. So when I hear things like that about the knife, I think at a particular age it was just so normal for some of us to hold a knife and walk with. It was just a culture we copied, because we're working with cows too at that age. So it is something that I don't want to say that the Moro people, in fact, they are hostile like some people are holding. They are not a hostile people. Rather, when you get deep, you find out that they are peaceful people. The only issue is that they will retaliate as long as they know that they are a minority in the space. And once you want to crush them, they will stand against you. I've witnessed a situation which we had to, when we live, for example, if you go to Sabga, you discover that Sabga is a community where the Moro people have actually, they are cohabiting. Yeah. It's not like Moro aside, and no, they are cohabiting with the natives of Babanki. They are together. And in such a place, you do not expect that at every given moment there should be conflict. No, they have resolved that particular problem, because there was a time before that such things will happen, where because of the isolation of the Moro people, and might be because of the fact that they were the ones that used to have the cows that enter into the farms of the people, and maybe that's where that happened. But as time progressed, the people became one. I think I grew up meeting my grandfather with cows. So it was just normal. We did not actually know the difference between Boro and the people, because they were living together. We had Boro people who were taking care of our cows. So in such a situation, I think I have a different perspective about them from the other person who had never grown with them to know who they are. And so, Mr. Leo, you asked me a question which I actually dodged a bit before I'm coming back on it. I want to say that every right-thinking politician in Cameroon should do everything possible to make sure that this become their target projects that they can stand behind. And if they do that, I want to believe that they will be saving more and creating more impact than what they will be doing. Might be struggling to build a road somewhere, struggling to make the people clap for them somewhere. If they can lobby to get sponsors for this kind of project.
Because without peace, look at the route Babaju Bamenda, we cannot construct it because of the prevailing crisis. The road between Kumba and Ekondo Titi cannot be constructed because and lots more.
So those are some of the things, Mr. Leo. I want to believe that if we look into things very well, the problems we are having are not problems that would have come to this dimension in which we are in Cameroon. But if we have good politicians who think for the betterment of the people, then I think we already are giving them a go-ahead. We are giving them, let me use the word, an opportunity, which has been presented to us here today. Let them rally behind things like this and see how to push them and sponsor them, if possible.
Okay. Good evening, Mr. Leo. Good program, but say you don't read all SMS way because no matter what it is, let all know. How can you be loving alone? Stop discrimination. Thanks, Theodore from Santa. Yeah. Okay. I cannot read all the messages now, my brother. If you send me 100 messages, I cannot read all. Greetings, Mr. Kum. Oh, you want me to share? You want to share in the loving? I'll invite you next time to come and share. Greetings, Mr. Kum and panelists. MBOSCUDA should have more awareness to go to school, live in a modern society, and be involved with technology. So, be some of their hostilities by the time education and early marriage should be discouraged, though their girls are very beautiful. Kashmir, writing from Limbe. I'm sure Laji Sali will talk about that. Good evening, sir. I love your program. More grace. Fritz is writing from Kumba. Still don't understand how he says I'm lagging alone. Good evening, sir. I enjoy your program. Alan is writing from Limbe. Yes, Alaji Sali.
Yes.
I'm sure you also are focused on the issue of early marriage of the girls
Yes.
and their education.
Yes, in fact, in the early days of MBOSCUDA, you know, MBOSCUDA is an organization that was created in 1992. Their early programs and projects were all centered on conscientization. And conscientization, I talk conscientization here is to let people know, open up their minds and know about education. Education has been a key, and we have projects that we have implemented on the girl child education, like the one that was called AGSP, was one of those type of projects, whereby girls were taken on board and educated, sponsored up to a certain level. And we have role models of girls in MBOSCUDA who were taken on board and put into professional schools until now they are civil servants and they are working. So in fact, our focus on early marriages is very, very primordial. We don't really encourage people. We have been discouraging people. We want girls to reach a situation whereby they take decisions about their marriage. And I think no matter how hard you fight, there are always exceptions. There are some beautiful girls that will just sneak into the field of marriage without knowing the repercussions in future. We have even seen cases of those who went into early marriages and got divorced and are now back in school. So it's something that we are really clamoring for, and we hope to join hands with the whole society to really discourage.
But from 1992 to now, I'm sure the situation is not the same.
The situation has changed greatly.
We have many Bororo girls in schools now.
Yes, many. They are almost in every domain you see Bororo girls. My sister, they can talk about her friends. Bororos who are far.
No, anyway, that is true, and most of the Bororo women or girls that work around MBOSCUDA, they are very intelligent.
Okay.
They are very, very intelligent, and they bring their contributions to whatever projects or whatever we are engaged with are never undermined. Now, away from this BTG project, we had a project where we worked with the empowering of economic empowerment of Bororo women. We're trying to make most of these women, get them to be independent. They shouldn't just rely on their husbands, where every morning you wake up and ask for money to buy Maggi or buy your pants. I mean, just those basic things. And the Bororo women that spearheaded this project and were able to pull together other Bororo women from a good number of communities from the Northwest region to be able to start up businesses on their own. Some of them even took on farming. Some of them took on gardening. Some of them were even involved in goat rearing. And I feel that if these few women who were at the forefront of this project didn't have the education that MBOSCUDA provided them a platform to have, they wouldn't have been able to have been instrumental in the realization of that particular project. I share an office with a Bororo girl, Ramata, and I must tell you that each time we get into intellectual debates, there's just always a lot that I get to learn from her. We equally have Aisha to Ali. I mean, those are examples of educated Bororo women who are very, very instrumental in their communities, and their roles are highly placed within MBOSCUDA.
Okay. This one says hello to everyone. We want to say that there is somebody who is watching and has videos of the Bororo community involved in some of the activities in their communities. We hope Eli gets the videos ready so that we can play for people to watch how interactive the Bororo people are working with their respective communities. But I want to understand the project. How easy, how difficult has it been to implement it?
Well, it might not be easy, it might not be difficult. You know, being easy or being difficult is a
obstacles.
It's a relative concept. Yes, and in most cases, in projects, when you put obstacles before you, you might not be able to realize the project. All of us know the situation on the ground, but definitely we have been able to use alternative ways to go along the activities. But first of all, I will really acknowledge and thank the funders like United Purpose, which is based in UK, which has really been backstopping us in several ways, and also European Union that provided the funds, because we couldn't have gone anywhere without those funds. And it has been relatively innovative. There are activities that sometimes seem very difficult to implement, but we discuss with our partners, we look for another way to go across it. But generally, the atmosphere has not been very easy for us to really implement all these activities. Right now, we are at the tail end of the project, but you see, there are challenges that you could not be able to visit some communities as you expected. Monitoring and evaluation is about meeting people, discussing with them, getting what is going and what is not going and what you can do about it. That is monitoring and evaluation. It has been done to an extent in some communities, but it has been very difficult to be carried out right up to the interiors. But the advantage we have is that we have people who are known as paralegal extension officers in all the divisions in the Northwest. And we have satellite offices in all the divisional headquarters. And there, you know, we work closely with them. And even another approach that we have been using is using community members to implement the project, in the sense that there are always resource persons in communities, like these people who have been empowered in the dialogue platforms. They can be assigned to do certain activities and they do it without any reservation. That is how we have been going along the issue. But without all of this, with all of this, we still have some key accomplishments that we have had, which I will be ready to share, because a project is about issues changing. So
okay. No, continue.
So maybe I talk about the accomplishments.
Yes. Capo, please. Capo. Capo is asking a question. Let me. Okay. He says that when you used to grow, he knew that Bororos don't drink, smoke, and womanize. But that now they drink, they even get drunk. What is wrong?
What is wrong? Well, as I said, society is changing, and definitely, as I told you, Bororos, 99% of Bororos are actually Muslims.
Okay.
And even from the perception of their religion, those are acts that are forbidden.
Okay.
You are forbidden to drink, you are forbidden to smoke, you are forbidden to womanize. All those things, they have their own framework under which they have to go the legal, the normal way.
Until you are married.
Yeah, until you are married. And drinking is not even part of Islamic culture. It's really highly forbidden.
Yeah.
But with the evolutions that we have set, with changing of people, they may change positively, they may also change negatively.
Okay.
So these are some of the negative changes which are there and which we are out to condemn.
Okay, so correct. Good evening, Mr. Liu and panelists. It's Mr. Tuma from Boya, town of legendary hospitality in MBOSCUDA. Should do more and glamour for girl, child education, political representation, and their women should get more involved into politics. This way, they will be accustomed to 21st century challenges. I'm sure you answered that already. Yeah. Good evening, sir. I love your show and your theme for today. I'm Mr. Epa Festus, writing from Yaoundé. Thank you very much. Esther, also writing from Yaoundé, says, good evening, Mr. Liu and co-panelists, a great Prof. Mark. For me, nice program. Esther, good evening good evening to you from Yaoundé. Eli, if that element where we saw Bororo, the Bororo community assisting their, involved with the other communities to engage in developmental issues, can we just see it? It's sent by, who sent us this video? Someone sent it. Can we have it?
Nada robe.
Okay, Eli, can we get the other video, please?
Because you make us say where you don't see say we they will plan them so they just job or country people and now so we no get no problem inside the finger unity. But now you don't make a drag different people, they don't bring out all you understand our family, we not get no any stranger. Now finger begin the all. Stranger no day. Now they didn't make a way, things don't happen so well and I don't announce all my year, all my document come because no problem where they did. If problem they know my way to pass. Yes, now two way me at the time God say me will deal with the unity as how we did. Me will not begin nugget, you are not demand. Different man no day. If they cut your skin blog or come out, they call my own blog or come out. All Bible then a one ben they stem and then a different. You know. Anything where they talk inside, you did. Because if you take our own Bible, say if they take one day, like say they call and say for own, say na alifi. Now they call a alifi for one. Now either way, anything where they inside our Bible, then inside one onto Bible. But anything where man they do, a man fear na God, no fear man who. No say na God don't say no for the place where you did what they mandate. Okay, may God help we. As I we don't drag all the.
Okay, we thank you very much, Muna Derek, who is watching the program and is living what we are saying here and just sent those videos to show how the Mbororo community is living together with the other communities and your reaction to what we just saw.
Yeah, Mr. Liu, I am so pleased because that is actually what we are talking about here. You see, where I just love what he said. If you cut my body, what will come out is blood. And if I cut yours, what will come out is blood. So it means that we are humans first before being whatsoever we want to call. So being together is what is important. And he used the word alifo, to indicate the fact that we are now one. So he's building a concept of unity. And that is what I think our brother came from Bamenda to present to us here. We must get to a place where we live as one and settle our problems and meet us, not trying to say, no, this person is not of my community or not of my tribe, or this person is not. All that is division that does not in any way build a community. When the people live together and work together, what happens is there is progress and there's development. Okay, look at the bridge they were struggling to build. If the Boro boys folded their arms and stood and was looking at them, at the end of the day there will be a conflict, there, a serious one. Might be when they finish constructing their bridge, you want to come and cross, they'll push you out of it and say, we're doing here, we're looking. But look at it, they were working together. That's the point. If we are going to progress, then we must come as one. We must come as one. You see, that's the issue of national integration.
Or living together.
And living together. When we say we should keep tribalism aside, some people want to hold it as their own means of struggling to show that they are in support of this or that. But I think that our president and those who were before him fought to see that we keep tribalism aside and exist as one people. And that is supposed to be the dream and desire of every Cameroonian and every African, where we see ourselves as one, because unity is the only means through which the African man is going to prevail. Without unity, we will not go anywhere. Once we keep backbiting and fighting one another, no love amidst us, no trust among us, let me be sincere, we will never progress. Because when these people build here, the other people come from behind and destroy. And that is what holds Africa in stagnancy.
Okay.
So we need to see that we release ourselves and come together as one.
Good evening, my brother. May the Lord God bless you for your good job you have been doing. I'm Enoch, writing from Limbe. Good evening to you, Enoch. This one says, why are the people having dry head and slim body as if? No, that is nature. You can't ask God. Fast and pray for 3 days. God will give you the answer. So the gospel. Good evening, Mr. Liu. I love your program. Mr. Ivo is writing from Fumbe. I don't know where Fumbe is. Good evening, Mr. Liu. I am proud on what you are doing on the TV. Thank you very much, Mr. Liu. Good evening. It is interesting to note that the Fulani culture is represented in 17 countries across West and Central, with over 30 million people. Thank you very much. This one says, yes, I am on set. Good evening, Mr. Liu, and to you all. Mr. Liu, just to ask at the table, why do Mororo girls don't get married out of their tribe? Fidel is writing from Kumba. I don't know whether it is a law, but Alaji Ansayu, MBOSCUDA should do more in the area of sports and civic education, more sensitization, and also youth should be involved in the military to ease national integration and multiculturalism, like more supportive workshops organized on the need for mixed marriages, as their girls are beautiful for wives for non-Bororos. We are all we are all Cameroonians. Mr. Collins is writing from.
So Mr. Collins wants MBOSCUDA
from Newtown in
to organize a workshop.
To
bring Bororo girls to the workshop for my brothers to marry.
Good evening, Josie in Limbe says, love your program. Kudos. Okay, thank you very much. Mr. Liu, good evening. I have a problem with this Mororo. They don't intermarry. Wow. There would have been an easy way to integrate them. The ladies are very beautiful. We need them for the ladies. Ashu is writing from Boya. Good evening to everyone, Mr. Liu. I am Mr. Mbok. I am in Boya. I love the Mbororo. Kalku. Most of my friends are coming from there. Okay. I love your program. Thank you very much. Migration was in the 18th century. Mr. Liu, a question to the MBOSCUDA head. Where are these people from? Their heritage, cause they are all in the northwest via migration. Where is okay? From the east. Yes.
Okay, let me start from the perspective of intermarriage. You see, generally, one key element in getting married to a Mbororo girl is the point of being a Muslim. And I know so many people who have converted to become Muslims just because they want to get married. if you are one among those who is converting just for the sake of marriage, then to me, I think it's not really proper, because, you know, religion is a value. And once you start debating from one religion to another, so many people will be asking so many questions about you. But the issue is that if you become a Muslim and you marry a Bororo girl, remain and build your religion from that perspective of Islam. There will be no problem. And even the girls, you hardly find Bororo girls who want to become Christians because they want to marry non-Bororos. So religion is a key factor in that issue of intermarriage. People do it sometimes temporarily, but don't be surprised that some may do it permanently. You may change like that and just remain. So marrying them is not a problem. And you know, marriage is a social institution, which before you take your decision to marry whoever you want to marry, you need to really go more deeply into it before you can understand what it is. Then somebody is asking about the origin of Bororo people. Actually, in history, it is shown that Bororo people migrated from West Africa, especially from Mali. There is a place they call Futa, Jalo in Guinea. They left from there. Our great parents, they left from there, came to Nigeria. And the main issue about their migration was in search of pasture. Grazing land, pasture and water. You know, even Sabga, that professor is talking about, is one of the first settlements of Bororo people in the Northwest. And what attracted them there was the salt lake, which by that time there was no salt. I don't know whether there was salt, but that was a key factor that attracted Bororo people to Sabga. When they came and saw the salt lake, there was enough pasture for their cattle to eat grass, and you know, they invited their brothers and they came and settled in that area. And up to today, that salt lake is there. Even recently, I visited somebody who takes his cattle regularly to the salt lake. And the advantage is that when these cattle take that water, they become healthy, they provide more milk, and you know, issues like that. So the migratory patterns of the Bororo people have been altered by some, because when they came, first of all, they started towards Fumba, and that's where they settled. But later on, as the need for more land and pasture became very eminent with the beautiful hills in Bamenda, they cannot avoid coming there. So my friend, history is there to tell you more about the origin of Bororo people. Thank you very much.
Okay, yes, I want us to look at 3 years after. What are some of the achievements?
All right. 3 years after, or since the conception of this project, which started in 2018, Sally had already identified the different components. I'll talk about some of the achievements, and then he will go ahead to talk about that. Now, we already told you about the fact that we were looking at 47 dialogue platforms that were created with the last project, In Search of Common Ground, and the whole idea was to add this aspect or this dimension of culture to this dialogue platforms. And I think so far we have gone close to 75-80%. Most of this dialogue platforms now have this cultural dimension. Yeah, and then we equally we're trying to increase or to achieve or to raise awareness of sensitization on cultural rights, cultural diversity, which we have been able to do, you know, through the IEC materials that were done by MBOSCUDA and Norway for United Purpose, still with the funds from the European Union. We had brochures, we had booklets, we equally had posters that were done and distributed for free, you know, at the local, national, and even at the international level. And we had positive feedback from people who have been able to consume this material, which acts as an achievement for us. We equally had have the success story, the creation of the Association of Cultural Journalists. That's just to tell you that people are now seeing a need, you know, to get engaged in cultural journalism. We're moving away from just being focused on politics, economic, or sports journalism. And we have more articles that we read on blogs or with the print media that center around culture. More programs have been created on radio stations that revolve around culture. And most of the resource persons that you have on most of these radio and TV programs are people from MBOSCUDA. Not just saying that the resource persons are merely MBOSCUDA, but looking at MBOSCUDA in the sense that they have this project that they are implementing around cultural issues. We equally have this association that has been created. They are not under MBOSCUDA. It is an independent association. So they have their activities that they'll be carrying out. Hence, even as the project phases out, they'll continue to do lots of their activities have been earmarked. They'll be carrying out competitions in schools. You know, we have clubs in our secondary and university institutions. They'll be encouraging the creation of these cultural clubs. They'll be having competitions with development cultural associations. Most of these are our cultural associations that come from our villages. There are lots of activities that have been earmarked by these associations. And then we have the creation of the civil society observatory, which Sally rightly indicated, made up of community-based organizations or civil society organizations, the media, and some technical government services. It serves as an achievement for us, which says that more people are coming on board to see how they can address most of these cultural rights. I think Sally will be able to talk about some other achievements of the project.
Thank you very much. You have already been elaborative enough, but I think there are always issues that maybe I need to add. You know, the main objective of this project is to diversify and culturally diversify some of those social groups, both women and the youth groups that were targets. So actually, within the 20 target groups, 18 have already been diversified, which means that they have a membership now of both Mbororos and non-Mbororos. And you know, this gives room for exchange. Understanding of culture, intercultural dialogue is actually taking place within their activities. Then another issue about the youth is that 15 out of the 20 have also been culturally diversified, which means that you find very interesting Mbororos and non-Mbororos. So for those my friends who want to marry Mbororo women, you can now join those groups. If you join those groups, it will be very interesting, so that at least you can start understanding them the more. Then you have also the issue of the documentary. We have just shot a documentary in the field that's talking about room for all on the land. It's a very interesting documentary, which will definitely be showing how both Mbororos and non-Mbororos have reasons to be on the land. So that is a key achievement, I think. Then the creation of this, there is also the issue of a functional social media intercultural platform whereby youths are exchanging, as they exchange along, they understand so many things about culture. There is also the reorganization of a social drama group, the one that acted the film Let's Heal Old Wounds. It has been reorganized to have a good dimension of non-Mbororos and also Mbororos in the group. Then there is also a production of, there is also a lot of trainings that have been done, especially in capacity building for community leaders and counselors, so that they can effectively represent their people in decision-making arenas. You see, this year we had about 49 counselors who are actually the efforts that have been put into,
deputy mayors.
And there are 8 deputy mayors among them, which is
I'll speak to some of the questions raised. But since we are almost going out of time, there is Umi, who is writing from Loom. I'm sure she's Mbororo, something like that. She says, "Good evening, sir. MBOSCUDA should look more into early and fixed marriages. There are many divorced Mbororo girls who have become frustrated due to early and fixed marriages. Don't know whether it is your role. I'm sure there is a council of elders who should put that
No, actually, we play the role of sensitization because sensitization never stops somewhere. Whenever you sensitize, there's always room for more sensitization. Early marriages are really very, very destructive, as all of us are aware, because some of them, the decisions were taken very, very prematurely. And when they go into marriage, one child, one, two, they are already seeing that marriage is becoming a very complicated institution.
They leave. Okay, good evening, Mr. Liu. I love your program. Please, we should learn to rebuke our brothers and sisters if they do anything wrong to their brothers and sisters of other tribes. Some people never see mistakes of their people. This situation makes cohabiting very difficult. Emmanuel is writing from Boya. Good evening, Mr. Liu. Is Francis from Limbe, Mile 2. I like the way they are living their lives and greets you too, Mr. Liu. Okay, thank you very much. Greetings, Mr. Liu. I really like your topic today. Here in Equatorial Guinea, I am seeing some Bororo drunk. Does it mean that they have failed their tradition? Eliantus, okay, I don't know, but like he says, evolution or civilization comes with good and bad things. Okay. Hi, Mr. Liu. Good evening. I love all of your programs. Yes, I like the Mbororo people, but the only problem with them is that they are much secret amongst themselves. Greetings to my brother, Colonel Mbu, and the wife, Madame Cynthia from Kimbi. Is El Gustavo writing from Kononi. Good evening to you, Gustavo. This one says, God bless you all. I'm Chi Victor writing from Kumba. Good evening to you. Good evening. I'm Elias from Belu. I love the program. I love Mboro girls because they are decent, respectful, and they are to their husbands. I wish I was a Muslim to get one of them. Changing religion is the problem. Okay. To what our father is saying, it's only in Africa that people think being a prophet is a career. I'm Roderick writing from Bamenda. Hi, I like Mbororo, but the only problem with them is that they put much secret. Okay. El Gustavo from Kononi. Okay, I read that message already. Good evening, Mr. Leo. I am Louis from Manjo. May God of Jacob bless you for the job you are doing. Thank you very much. Good evening, Mr. Leo. I love your program. Nico is writing from Bafut. Now, I want us to look at should this project be expanded to all the communities in Cameroon, that is looking at the bazaars and living with the Bamili case, almost everybody?
Sincerely, I would say it's a project that should be actually expanded and carried to every other community that exists in Cameroon and Africa as a whole, because it is actually struggling to help people to cohabit. And that is the essence of people being together. If we are unable to, as humans, cohabit, what then will we be doing? So I think that is a core of solving the problems that we have in our various communities and in the entire continent as a whole. You ask that question, I look at it and I see beyond the Mboro people. I see, just look at it today, we have a lot of divisions. So for those divisions, those conflicts, all those things to be solved, I think it should be expanded, and I am for the idea that it should be expanded and carried across Cameroon, carried across Africa, if possible, even to South America, because there are some there. Yes. So with my mindset, I am seeing this particular project as a solution to a problem that had been for a long period of time. It is a solution to a problem. So I don't have much to say, but I think that's what should happen.
Yes, the project ends. What is left in the project from now till the definite end of the project, and are you looking forward to future stages to take the project forward? Because you people say it started from somewhere to where it is now. This one now is bridging the gap. Is there some other phase?
Yeah, definitely projects don't end. Whatever is called a project, it continues. But it's the way the way it faces out. It might be in phases from one phase to another. Actually, this project has some key activities that are remaining now, like the regional conference that we have just talked about, which is coming up in January. That is a key activity within that. The external evaluation, which is ongoing, and even there are also issues around the sporting competitions that are still to be done. So actually those are just the key issues that are pending. So I can say 99% of the project has actually been implemented. But taking cognizance of the current situation that is prevailing, we don't need to highlight any challenge. That is the challenge that we have. All of us are accustomed to the challenge.
Okay, Cynthia, we have 47 existing dialogue platforms serving about 65,000 people, 20 municipal councils of the region, BOSCUDA leaders of the... Now, how the project is ending, but these dialogue platforms are supposed to survive. How do they move on?
I think one thing within, just like we talked about the Association of Cultural Journalists, the fact that BOSCUDA was at the forefront of spearheading the creation of these dialogue platforms doesn't mean they are dependent on BOSCUDA for their survival. It continues.
You've given them the techniques?
Yes, we have given them the techniques. We have built their capacities on what they need to do. So their survival for the past 8 years or so, if we take the 5 years for In Search of Common Ground and the 3 years for BTG, it's not dependent on BOSCUDA. So these platforms will continue to exist in those communities. They have their different procedures or the ways they go about to source for their funding and carry out whatever activities they want to carry out. That is why the members of those dialogue platforms are from the communities. They are not people who are brought from out of those areas to come and make up those dialogue platforms. So you can't work for your community and you expect to be paid for it. You are all contributing towards the survival of your community. So these dialogue platforms, they continue to exist. What we simply do, it's maybe as we keep having more projects and we extend to other communities, we create more. We copy the good work, or we copy the success stories of the dialogue platforms that from the other conflict hotspots to those areas. So they continue carrying out their activities, or they survive.
Okay, and for Ferdinand says, great program. Thank you very much, Deputy. Good evening, Leonard. I am writing to you from Boya. I can say you people have really recognized the greatest marginalized tribe in our country. For inviting them for the first time. I'm happy for that. This is not the first time BOSCUDA is coming on our platform. This should be the third time we are discussing here. Greetings, sir. Their region is quite unique and strict, but I love their fit because it's straightforward. A brilliant Casey is writing from Kumba. That's great, Mr. Leo. God will bless you. I'm Elias Baba writing from Yaoundé. Good evening, Mr. Leo and crew members. I love the program. One thing I found out why Mbororo girls rarely intermarry with other races is because husbands are located for Mbororo girls in same places at birth, sort of betrothal. Julius is writing from Kumbo. I'm not sure that is true. This one says, when it comes to decision making and consultant, nobody recognizes this tribe. Mbororo is Ben Salif, okay, writing from where I don't know. Now we're going back to Bamenda this night or tomorrow. Okay, tomorrow.
When you're moving to Bamenda, you don't declare when you're going. You could be someone's target.
Okay, we hope that for the conference, my Media Prime is going to be invited to be part of it.
Yes.
Yes, we are going to be.
Definitely. You're one of our key partners.
Okay.
As one of the activities or one of the components, we're to work very closely with national TV stations, and My Media Prime has proven to be one of our reliable TV stations or TV or our partners.
Okay, we hope that you all who took time off to watch the program got some misconceptions actually taken out of your minds. They are very, very loving people. I have had I have many friends here who are Borogos, and I have had very great experiences with them. Professor Marcos, who has said same. I'm sure many persons have also done same. Somebody who was just watching the program has sent a video to portray the way they are living with the Bororo brothers and sisters out there. When you look at those videos, you would not even be able to distinguish.
These are Bororo.
So that is the reality and the objective of this project, Bridging the Gap. Also encouraging us all to live together. Haji, we are very grateful you came to be part of this program. We thank you for coming.
Yeah, thank you.
And also to you.
The pleasure is ours.
Okay, Cynthia, we are grateful you came.
It's always a pleasure to be here.
And to you, Professor.
Thank you very much, Mr. Liu, for the opportunity. It's always a pleasure, and I think at every given moment I'm opportune, I'll be there.
Okay. And also to you, Christian, we say thank you, and to you, Desmond and Eli Bertrand. We thank you all who have put in your very best to ensure that this program is a success. Not forgetting you, Tabby, Tambe Brian. Stay blessed. Bye-bye.